we're all going to die. And I'm okay with that. It'd be an honorable death. But we've got to shut Steppenwolf down. And Superman's a no-show. You don't have any powers. You could be working for the enemy. You're tripping over your feet and mine. And you're gorgeous and strong and fierce. And hey, the Amazons and the Atlanteans, they went to war before my time. So I don't really care. But I'm young. And I've got stuff to do. And, to tell you the honest truth, I don't really want to die. And I've never embraced the sea and the land, for myself. Oh, man. Huh? Welcome to a new episode of Doomsday T on DC. And this week we're going to start off with Snyder Cut news. During Comic-Con, Snyder always seems like he can steal the headlines, and this year was no different. He released, I guess he released some concept art, but I have some art. Some fan art to go along with using Snyder's art to go along with what he talked about. And first of all, he was going to have Wonder Woman chop off Steppenwolf's head to end that battle in Justice League, and the head, it was going to roll. I don't know if it's going to roll to Darkseid's foot or not, or whatever. But anyway, the Justice League was going to see Darkseid and the Darkseid family, Granny Goodness, I don't know, maybe Calibac, whoever, the Sod, everybody, and see Darkseid through a boom tube. And that's that shot of the Justice League that you see whenever they're all like looking up. They're looking at Darkseid in a boom tube, and because I guess Steppenwolf had been defeated, he can't cross over right now. Something to do with that. So there's no confrontation, but I guess there's words, there's something said. Boom tube closes, and then whatever. So that was the ending we were supposed to get, and Snyder basically said, in his universe, gods kill gods, and that's why he had Wonder Woman to take off Steppenwolf's head to end it. So I wanted to start off with that this week because, they're at the San Diego Comic-Con, there was the airplane with the banner talking about release of Snyder Cut. You had billboards. You had advertisements on bus stops. Warner Brother has to move on this. They have to address it. And, you've got to give these Snyder Cut people credit. And I'm one of them. But setting this up where it funds suicide prevention, because of Zach's daughter. And then how, honestly, how Warner Brothers treated him when, this happened with his daughter and him doing Justice League and them pulling him like they did, and and he even acknowledged, that, he's not saw it. He don't know anything about the Russian people in the movie. He don't know anything about the ending. His ending was, like you said, his universe, gods kill gods, and Wonder Woman takes off his head. And we were supposed to get Darkseid at the end, and the Justice League was supposed to see him, and there was going to be a little bit of a, back and forth with Darkseid, and we did not get that, and that's why we need the Snyder Cut. So let's, come on, release the Snyder Cut, please. Let's get, and hopefully Zach will, whatever he maybe has not finished, if it's not fully finished CGI wise, like, at least like finish Darkseid, give us Darkseid, give us a couple things we need. Certain things wouldn't matter if it wasn't complete or not, but if we get it, we get that ending to that movie, please take the time to do the CGI for Darkseid. That would be wonderful. But moving on in San Diego Comic Con this year, DC had a good presence. They didn't do anything in Hall H, and there wasn't any the cast and anything really. They did do though. Didn't they do? They did some of the TV stuff like the Teen Titans. I know they showed a trailer for that. The Watchmen series. We know that Doom Patrol got picked back up. I guess still no word on Swamp Thing, unfortunately. Of course, everybody's still talking about the Bad Robot pickup with Warner Brothers with J.J. Abrams, and of course Gunn. Having Gunn, are we gonna get a Dark Justice League? Is he gonna carry on something like that? Is he gonna do Justice League? I would. My guess, like I said, I think in a couple of podcasts ago, a couple episodes ago, Gunn and Abrams, I'm sure are going to tackle Justice League, Green Lantern, Superman, those big three. I would think. And I think everybody else is in place. I mean, you've got Jenkins for Wonder Woman. You got one for Aquaman, which, doing an Aquaman movie is, talking about a task, man. What a giant task. That's bigger than anything. Golly, doing all that underwater stuff in Atlantis. Of course, now they've created it so that work is done. Everything else is just tweaks or whatever they want to change. And they know how to do it now. They know what works. They've already done it. But, I just feel like things are falling into place. They've got to deliver a Man of Steel 2. Cavill still says he wants to do it. Even up to today, he wants to be Superman. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what Warner Bros. Is going to do. We'll see. But like I said, not a whole lot of news out of Comic-Con. And let's, sticking with the DC Extended Universe news, the only new news we really had come out this week is with the Joker. And that movie's going to be at the Toronto Film Fest, Venice Film Fest. Everybody's saying it's Oscar worthy. Todd Phillips, of course, I think it was the last podcast we talked about how somebody had asked him about the movie or whatever, if it was comic book, and he was like, no, it's not. There's not anything in the comic books really about the Joker, and there's not a lot. But anyway, at first we were hearing, I had heard a couple negative reviews, but this week, there's 4 or 5 people that had screened it and put out some tweets and talked about it. And one of them was like, Heath would be proud. It's very dark, and it's not like any other comic book movie, but yet everybody's going to love it. It is Oscar worthy. It's pretty creepy. It's pretty scary. It's very scary. I don't know if it's gore or not. Just just the things that it came out this week, and I'll post, I'm sure, in the pictures that are running. Probably some of those tweets. I think I'd saved them for this podcast. But anyway, man, you go back and forth on how you feel about these movies, and until you see them, you just don't know. I've definitely been back and forth on this movie. Birds of Prey, I've not been back and forth on as much. there's definitely a couple things. We'll see if it works or not. Like I said, Margot Robbie just owns that Harley role. Like I said, and people are saying, of course, Black Mask at Ewan McGregor's knocking out of the park. We know that the Black Canary, everybody's saying that she steals the show in it. So those are definitely things I'm glad. I think all those elements need to work. Black Canary needs to work. Black Mask needs to work, and of course we know Harley works, and she's going to work. So good on that. But going back to the Jokers, that was the new news, and there were some new pictures I'll put up today, or that were put up, and I'll put on the picture roll here, the B roll. But anyway, good. They wouldn't put this in the Toronto and Venice Film Festival if it wasn't a good movie. So I am more excited about it after this, and knowing that it's going to be at these film festivals and it's Oscar worthy, and they're really pushing for that. They know they have something halfway decent. So, and I think one of the pictures that were shown today of whoever from the Joker movie, there was Alfred was in it. So, I don't know if there's going to be any Bruce Wayne. Oh, yeah, didn't we know? Did they show? They did show a kid earlier on, didn't they? So there's probably a kid Bruce Wayne. I think they did show that, or at least everybody assumed there was a picture of a kid and Joaquin Phoenix, Arthur Fleck or whatever, talking, and it looked like it was at Wayne Manor through the fence. So it looks like Bruce is in it. Like I said, Alfred was supposed to be in it. The picture was Alfred and Gordon, and then you can see the Joker they were in the background, Joker was in the foreground. Anyway, so good Joker news, and we're less than 2 months away from that? What is this, August? No, we're still a couple, 2-3 months away from Joker movie. And and listen, if we don't get, we should get a Birds of Prey trailer soon. Definitely with the Joker movie, I would expect to have a Birds of Prey and maybe even a Wonder Woman trailer. If we don't get it then, I would assume we'll get a Wonder Woman trailer whenever Birds of Prey comes out for sure. Of course, but Birds of Prey's rated R, Joker's rated R. Those trailers have got to drop. Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman, those trailers have to drop. But being rated R, Joker being rated R, like I said, I look for a first, probably second Birds of Prey trailer to be attached to that Joker film. I think it's October 4th, so that date keeps getting here quicker and quicker. So awesome. I'm ready for a DC movie. I guess the last one was Shazam, and oh yeah, man, me and my son, I picked it up on DVD there, I don't know, a week ago, whenever it was, and we watched it this past week, and what just a great movie. The more I watch that movie, the more I fall in love with it, and I don't know if I've mentioned it on here or not, and I'll throw the picture up too. Man, the guy that plays the dad in the orphanage, it looks like the guy that's always been drawn for Taki. And there was an interesting thing at the end of it, where it shows the cartoon drawings, but they're like animated, like during the credits of the Shazam movie. When it shows him and the mom, he's grilling hot dogs. And of course, usually Taki's like the hot dog vendor in the city. He's kind of watching over Billy and the kids or whatever. So anyway, this guy, and like I said, the guy that's playing the dad in the Shazam movie looks like the way that Taki, the guy, is drawn in the comics. That's the hot dog guy. That guy looks just like, he could have been cast for Taki. So what I'm hoping is, in a second Shazam movie, they're going to reveal him as Taki. And wouldn't that be cool that the dad, that's running the orphanage house there with the kids and everything, or the home, that him being Taki with those kids would be perfect, and that he really knew what was going on, and he knew who Billy was. I'm speculating, but I really have some high hopes that guy, and I wish I could think of his name right now, but the actor that's playing the dad in the orphanage home with Billy and the kids, he's perfect for Taki, man. You wouldn't have to cast anybody else. You wouldn't have to bring in this other hot dog guy on the streets. You got him, man. He looks like him. He's there with the kids. So, and I haven't read the Shazam 52, and if that is who Taki is in there, then we're set, right? And I just didn't know it. But if not, and they take it, because movies are an interpretation. A lot of times they're not necessarily an adaptation. They are an interpretation of the characters, and that's of course where confusion sets in and fans get mad. But there you go, is my little thing on that. As far as I did want to cover just a little bit on the TV news. Of course, we're in the last season of Green Arrow, and Stephen Amell's been wonderful in the crossover. Um, it looks like Brandon Routh's going to don the Superman costume again. He's going to be Kingdom Come Superman, which is older. So, that's always cool. They're really cool with the crossover stuff to give us some fan service. Burt Ward, the Robin from the Adam West Batman, he's supposed to be in it. Rumors are that Linda Carter, that played Wonder Woman in the 70s, 80s TV show, that she might be in it, maybe as an older Wonder Woman. Hippolyta, that'd be great. I don't know. Hippolyta is my guess, but that would be wonderful. And they've talked about Tom Welling, which I think he's in it, but maybe not Superman. The guy from Lois and Clark, I can't think of his name. Daggone it. Dean Cain, talked about him maybe in it. Maybe Terry Hatcher's in it. I don't know. Maybe some of the movie DC Extended Universe people's in it. I don't know. But they're definitely trying to do something big on that crossover, and I appreciate that. Supergirl, Benoist had on a new outfit they showed at Comic-Con. It was basically pants. She had on like blue pants instead of the dress or whatever, and the red boots. And her hair was a little different. Maybe she had bangs or something. But she does knock that roll out of the park. And I definitely love the first season. Second season's okay. Like I said, they get a little too teenage angsty with the whole lesbian stuff with her sister. It got a little too teenage, like girl whatever for me, and kind of turned it off. I still like the show. I just wish they would go back to it not being some teenage girl thing, but it's Supergirl. They're not writing it for this crazy 45-year-old man that loves DC. They definitely probably are not writing it for me. But I do appreciate some of the fan service on the show, and John's on there is wonderful. And God, give us a Manhunter movie, please. You got to get him in. Which I have a great idea how to do a Martian Manhunter movie, and it's not what anybody would expect. It's not anything that's been done in the comics or cartoons or anything before. But it'd be so perfect and incorporates other heroes, but not who you think. Anyway, I wish I could give that away, but maybe I'll write that script and try to shop it. Who knows? But I do have a really good idea for a Martian Manhunter movie. I promise you that. I did want to do a comic book corner this week, and the reason why, and I think I might have done it. I don't know if I did it before or not. I know I didn't cover it deeply because I haven't read it, and honestly, I'm about halfway through right now, and I'm reading the New Gods finally, and I started to put it down, but I'm halfway, maybe a little over halfway through. I'm at the pack, but which I guess, like I said, is in the middle. But wow, sometimes I get afraid to read books that were done, maybe in the 70s and some 80s. The 80s were a little hit or miss. They were a little better, but anyway, but it was Jack Kirby, and I should have known, Kirby creating it and what he done is great. And I know the stories, but I just never read the source material, And let me tell you, pick it up right now. Get the big thick book, get the one that has all the stories in it, and you'll thank me later. I mean, it's very informative. There's a lot going on with the mother box that Orion has. A couple things about Orion I didn't know until I read. I read the New Gods book. I didn't know he was kind of like a monkey face or something, and the mother box actually transformed his face so he looks like this hero and he's good looking or whatever. Pretty interesting. I didn't know that about him, and I'm a big DC fan. Did not know that about Orion. The Astro Force talks about that, of course. Of course, he has a mother box on him. And he's at war. and Light Ray is with him. Of course, New Genesis and all that, and the Highness or the Father Highness or whatever has his story. One of the interesting things is Steppenwolf in it, which if they'd have gave him the horned hat back then, it would have been cool. But anyway, Steppenwolf's in it, and I just read that part. Didn't Darkseid kills him, right? But anyway, it's interesting to see Steppenwolf in it and get his story because he comes in and goes out. Uh, and I hope DuVernay and I hope DuVernay nails it. Her and King, Tom King. Uh, and I think they will. You got to be true. And I know they're going to probably use the Mr. Miracle. And I've got to read that next. The new Mr. Miracle. Um, I know that's probably where they're going to draw from. But let me tell you though, I hope that they incorporate what Kirby did with the New Gods. It is incredible. I can't wait to finish it. I'll give you an update on conclusion of it as soon as I'm done. But I can tell you right now, I'm halfway done. It's a big thick book. I'm halfway, and it's awesome. I can't put it down. I've made it that far in just a couple of nights, and just reading a few books at a time. 3, 4 books at a time, and that's how I got there. It's how we got there. So yeah, pick that up. That'll be all in Comic Book Corner this week, and excuse me. And on T's Toys this week, did pick up a Stargirl figure because the one I had was older. Anyway, picked this bad boy up last week and love it. We're getting that series in the DC universe coming up, and looking forward to that. And like I said, get on that Watchtower group on Facebook, and then get on the Teen Titans, definitely get on the Teen Titans page, but get on the Stargirl page. Like I said, there's the actresses are on there. People that's worked on the set are friends on there, and they are talking and revealing stuff all the time. It's where I get a lot of my news on those shows, or from those Facebook sites, those closed groups. Search those out. They'll let you in. Some of them require you to answer a couple simple questions about the character just to make sure you are a DC fan and you know what you're talking about. You're just not somebody maybe wanting to go in there and troll or whatever. You have to know. You have to be a DC fan to get in there. So just wanted to cover that real quick and do a little tease toys. But this is a DC Direct Stargirl. Love the figure. Head moves any way you want it. This way, that way, whatever. Very articulate. Shoulders rotate. Everything moves. Just a well put together figure. Well painted figure. All the detail, the hair, the belt, the gloves, the staff, of course, is awesome. But I guess I'll do it this week for Doomsday T on DC. I appreciate watching, and we did cover quite a bit. Ended up, but y'all be good or be good at it. And always, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week on a new episode. See ya.